Welcome to the Scale Model Podcast. In this podcast, we aim to entertain, inform, and promote the hobby of scale model kit building with interviews, reviews, and news about the hobby. The podcast is available bi-weekly where your favorite podcasts are found. You can also get it from our website at scalemodelpodcast.com, where you can find show notes, photo gallery, and so much more. You can also subscribe to get notifications on all our updates, new episodes, and video content. Please support the Scale Model Podcast on Patreon. Patreon supporters enjoy early access to content and exclusive contests. Your Patreon support helps us to offset hosting and other costs to bring the podcast to you. Welcome to episode 159 of the Scale Model Podcast, sponsored by Cult TV Man and Sean's Custom Model Tools. I'm your host, Stuart Clark, and I am joined by my good friend from just currently on the north shore of Lake Erie. We're recovering from our scale model show like I am, Mr. Geoff Highland.
Good to see you, Stuart. You look relatively sane considering the weekend.
Oh, I tell you, what a busy weekend, but what a good time. Well, we're going to talk about that, kicking things off. But first, we have to introduce fresh from his ongoing world tour of various Wonderfests. Actually, the one and only Wonderfest. It's the one and only Terry Measley.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm doing
He's so
okay.
spunky.
Yeah.
Well, he had a good time at Wonderfest. We're gonna feature an interview with him and George a little bit later on in the show.
Yep.
So first of all, thanks to all the Patreon and Buy Me a Coffee supporters. Check out our What We Like page for lists of what we like. And this week, I am going to make sure I put in the Facebook feed asking people what they're reading, what they're watching, what they're building, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So I'll make sure I do that. Okay, let's kick off with, for Geoff and I, our last couple of months have been busy planning for the Southwestern Ontario Scale Model Expo. So that was this weekend on June the 7th. We're recording this on June 9th. It was an absolutely busy and good day. Geoff and I had a lot of fun. What are your comments, Geoff?
It was great. I mean, the challenge we had, this is the first time we've done it in June. Normally we would have ours in the fall, and we used to alternate every 2 years with Ottawa so that we didn't step on each other's toes. Unfortunately this year, Toronto Torcan took the weekend we in Ottawa would normally use. So rather than get into a fight about it, we just decided we'll find another date. We tried for June. So I think our attendance was not what we would have liked. It was good, mm-hmm. but it wasn't as good as we would have liked. And I think part of that is just we were on people didn't know we were doing it. I mean, or it was off, or it's summer and people are off people are doing other good things. And so we're gonna have a meeting. We're having a meeting tomorrow night to chat about what was good, what can be improved, and how we can make the show better. But by and large, it was a great show. I mean, we had some fantastic stuff on the tables.
Oh, absolutely amazing stuff.
And a lot of vendors with tempting offerings, which was good. And we had a really, really good raffle table. Like I know we were all a little bit nervous about the raffle table. We were mm-hmm. going to get enough, but by the time of the show, we had a ton of stuff, and it was really run really well by Frank's family, basically. Mm-hmm. and we have a story to tell with respect to that. So
So the raffle table, basically our grand prize. We had a modeler in town here. He wasn't part of the club. I think he was years ago. Steve Harvey. He unfortunately passed away last year, but he basically had willed his entire stash to the club. Mm-hmm. Said members use what you want, so his tools and everything were divided and stuff like that. But what was interesting, the pride and joy of his stash, which hadn't been touched, was a Trumpeter 1/200th HMS hood with the Pontos detail upset. So an absolutely monster kit with a monster price.
Huge.
Between that and the detail upset, you're probably looking at $700 to $800 at least. Canadian. So we had a raffle. That was our grand prize in our raffle draw. One of our club members who used to live in locally here, Harold, he lives out now near Winnipeg, area. I think he's in Saskatchewan now, actually. Now I got to
You know
think
what?
about
We're
that.
we're gonna get it wrong, but we'll say he's a pilot. He's a helicopter pilot, and he's moved around a little bit, but he looks like he's finally settling down.
He's in the prairies. He's in the
And he's
prairies,
and
Winnipeg area, Winnipeg, Saskatchewan
yeah,
area.
but he's still a member of our club. He joins us on our Zoom meetings and our build sessions every
Hmm.
Wednesday night. And I keep meaning to tout this for our club. We have a pretty much a global reach for club members. We've got Tony down in Australia, who's a club
Yep.
member, and he joins us all the time. And got people all over the place. A few of them in the States, and all over the place. So
People come in and
it's a
join
pretty
us.
good
Yeah.
thing. But Harold couldn't make it to the show, but he wanted to buy tickets to the raffle because he was really keen on the hood. He really
Well,
wanted to try to
well,
win the
and
grand
there's a
prize.
reason. Unlike many people, he actually builds these things. He's actually
Yeah, he
working on a
does.
1/200th Titanic, and he's got a 1/200th Missouri. So
Yeah.
yeah. So in the end, he said previously, he said, well, I'll PayPal the money or I'll e-transfer the club some money, and you guys get me tickets, and then we can figure out how to ship it up there if I win.
Right.
So there was a bit of a story, and I'll let you tell it, Geoff.
Well, he did. He sent the email. We have an IPMS Canada, IPMS London exec email account, and he sent the money to that email account, which then goes to those of us on the exec, which is Stuart, me, and Frank, and a couple of other Bill Webb. And so Stuart and I both, because we're very vigilant in our on-screen, online lives, and we're constantly checking our emails and things. And we both saw it, got it, both sent him a note back saying, "Well, get your tickets." We both went out and bought 10 bucks worth of tickets or 20 bucks worth of
20
tickets.
bucks for the tickets each. Yeah.
Yeah, 20 bucks each for the tickets. So that was 40 tickets we had, something to that effect, $40 worth of tickets. And then we found out later that we basically doubled Harold's ticket chances.
So he owes us 20 bucks.
Well, I don't know that we can figure that one out, but
Yeah. Yeah.
but we talked between the two of us. We said, okay, well, if we win anything other than the hood, we're keeping it because
Yeah.
we're nice guys.
Yeah. And he did tell us he didn't want anything else.
He didn't want anything else
He
but the
said, go
hood.
ahead and redraw it or do what you with it, what you want.
Right. So I actually won a few things. Did you win anything?
I didn't win anything with Herald tickets. I won one thing out of the whole raffle. Normally Frank's son is a good luck charm. You let him hold your tickets. I won one thing in the raffle, which was a 1/48 scale Tamiya Sherman Firefly, which I just built like 2 months ago. So I resold it. I sold it to Johnny in the end for a little bit of money.
Oh, he'll do well with it.
Yeah.
Well, we had a couple other guys like Steve Zammit from our club. He bought 10 bucks worth of tickets or however many that was. And out of that 10 bucks, I think he had let's say he had 10 tickets. He scored on 6 of them.
Yep. Well,
how does that happen?
And then there's Steve from IPMS Hamilton.
Yeah, Steve Overmeyer. He just made out like a bandit.
10, I think.
Yeah.
10 items. In fact, he had me record a video for his wife with me and him, with me telling his wife that no, generally he did not buy any of these. He won them. I had to record a video so that way his wife wouldn't kill him when he comes in the door.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. Remember that, guys. Oh, these were just raffle wins.
I just raffle tickets.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly. So anyway, the bottom line of the whole story is that we got through all the raffle prizes, and there were quite a few. I don't know how many we had, 40, 50?
At least
more?
50, over 50. Over 50. And
we were doing good prizes.
Yeah, we were doing the final judging, including, what we did was, while the last of the judging was going on, any unclaimed prizes, we did like a speed draw. So I was on the mic, and we were, the raffle people were drawing, handing me a ticket, and I would read it off. We'd give them a couple of, half a minute to claim it. And if they didn't, we did. So that took a little bit of a while. So finally we got to the hood, and we had to draw three times because some people had left. So there was at least 2 people that, didn't have it. And then we drew this one, and then it was one of the tickets I'd bought for Harold.
It was unbelievable. That was of all the things. And so we sent a note to Harold. He could not believe it. He's
ecstatic.
He was ecstatic. Yeah, it was quite funny. A lot of emails back and forth, or a lot of messages back and forth. Anyway, it was
Yeah,
a lot of fun. It was like the right ending for
right.
us anyway.
Yeah.
After all the
And
screw-ups.
it'll be built. That's what I like to
That,
see.
Yeah,
yeah, I mean,
exactly.
you never see these things. Of course, most of them are fairly new, and
Right.
a project like
Right.
this does take
Yeah,
time.
and it's tough to transport, but you never see
True.
Now
pictures of them working on it.
the shipping for something like this, because this box is almost like 5 feet long.
You know,
It's
it's huge.
Mm.
It's
It's a
huge.
huge box, and the shipping would be enormous considering it's Canada and our shipping prices are stupid. But as it turns out, Bill Webb, our club treasurer, is heading out that way because his son's in the military and he has a base out near Harold. So he's going to drive out and take it out to him.
So that'll be
Works out
awesome.
perfectly.
Yep,
Yeah,
Harold will show him the local hobby stores and
Yeah,
buy him a steak dinner and all that good stuff. And
yeah.
exactly.
Harold made it clear: steak and beer, steak and beer. So there you go. Bill's
So
all
that
looking
was
forward to it.
that was good. Um, just like Wonderfest, we had some amazing builds. One of the highlights that I had, some guy brought in a diorama for display purposes
Oh,
of
crazy.
the operation at Pegasus Bridge on
Yeah.
June 5th and 6th, 1944. The thing was, I don't know, what was it? It occupied at least
It's
6 feet.
about 6 feet long, 3 feet wide, something like that.
Yeah,
And
72nd scale.
it was great. Bunch of Waco gliders, broken up on the field on one side, and then the bridge, and then the village on the other side, and the
Yep.
battle of lots of little figures. It was pretty cool. It was a really nice job.
Yeah, I think we had 310, 320 on the table.
I'm pretty sure I was doing the numbering at the gate, and I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
I screwed it up. So we probably had around 320, 330.
Yeah, I think at near the end, I think I did come a couple of the last ones I took over from
Yeah,
you from the
you did.
gate. So I think there was about 320 in the end.
Yeah.
A few things ended up with Scale Model Podcast challenge coins. Some
Yeah.
nice looking stuff. One of the ones I really liked was I think it was the YF 19 or the YF 21 with this modulated paint. It looked like it was actually right out of the anime. I'd seen
I've
it.
seen that. I've
Yeah,
seen that.
yeah, it was at
That's
Heritage Con.
yeah, I know whose that is.
Yeah,
Is that the blue
gorgeous.
one?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Isn't that Johnny's?
yeah,
I'm
yeah, I
yeah.
pretty
think it
sure
was
that's
Johnny's. I think
Johnny's.
That's
that's Johnny's.
Johnny's.
That's right.
Yeah. It's
Yes.
gorgeous.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It
he did a
is. It's
great job
absolutely
shading that.
stunning.
yep. So that got a challenge coin. There was quite a few Gundams and mechas there. A lot of stuff.
That was actually really interesting to see sort of the hobby transitioning. You notice that
Yep.
I think there are as many as on that table of the Gundams and mechas as there were in the armor category.
Oh, definitely, definitely. Yeah. But again, good builds all around. The vendor selection was very good. I ended up having scores coming out even. I acquired six through raffles or gifts or purchases, and I sold six. So I was good. Geoff, how about you?
I had about 40 on the table for
Yeah, you had a
sale,
lot more. Yeah,
and I had definitely like lowballing prices.
yeah,
And
me too.
I sold about 24, something like that,
Awesome.
maybe 20, 24. And I bought one.
Well
So I'm
done.
exceptionally good. Bought myself the Hubble Space Telescope, which I've been looking for ages.
I didn't know you saw. I didn't see that. Holy
Lucky you
cow!
didn't.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like a
lucky for
Skillcraft kit.
you.
It's an off-brand kit, but it's quite good and it's a big scale. And I thought
Damn
oh,
it!
that'll be fun.
I wish I'd seen that. You beat me to
Yeah,
it.
and
That's all right.
I picked up a couple of winners. I got a 132 Trumpeter P47
Hmm.
bubble top, and I got a Mercedes European fire truck. uh, After trading around, I think I won a
Yep.
Lightning 2 or something, and
Yep.
then I traded it for the fire truck, because I know my grandson loves trucks and cars, and he loves fire trucks, so that's
There
going
we
to be
go.
kind of fun.
It was also good to see a couple of your grandchildren there.
They did. Two of them showed up, and thank you very much, Stuart. You are now their hero because we had a make and take table, and there were two kits left, and everybody had kind of gone. Nobody was there anymore. So Stuart did what I didn't think to do. He grabbed a couple of the kits and gave them to my
They,
granddaughter and my
Yeah.
grandson.
well, you say they've enjoyed some of the grandkids have enjoyed it, and I guess you were saying in an email to me today, your granddaughter was bugging the parents.
She was bugging them all day Sunday, all day yesterday. When can I start? When can I start? When can I start? So they said, Fine, because they had yesterday they were running in the 10K Forest City Road races,
Right.
and they came back and they were totally bagged, and this their daughter was bugging them like crazy to start this model, so they just gave in and said, "You fine, you sit up at the table, you can try and work on it," and so she was building it herself,
That's
no help,
awesome. That's
and
awesome. I
she
saw the
and
picture there and
just loving it, yeah. So really proud of
hmm
her. So good for
I,
her.
I've also got to do a shout out to, we had contingent from the Mid-Michigan Model Makers contest
Yeah, yes, they were there.
or
It was good
club,
for them.
I should say. And we had a good chat with them and we're talking about maybe doing some sort of, some sort of theme, Canadian theme at their show, and we'll do a Michigan theme at our show or something like that. So
We
Cool.
gotta keep building those bridges, you know.
gotta keep
Yeah,
building those
sister
bridges.
clubs.
Yeah, it was
Yep,
it was good they came up and they had no problem at the border and they had a good drive up. It was a good day for it.
yep.
So that was good as well. So I told them I'd give them a shout out. They got some stickers from me as well. So
Good
to
guys.
to
Good bunch of
adorn their
guys.
spray booth. Yep, exactly. So yeah, the vendor selection was good. It was interesting. Again, the pricing was all over the place. It was interesting. There was two guys there handling, and again, we're going to see this more and more, a very large estate. What do you reckon, Jeff? 500 kits at least?
Oh, at least it was that they had built basically a wall up between themselves and their potential clients because you couldn't see over it. You couldn't see the wall was so high off the table.
Yeah, well,
And the
originally they
pri
had less tables, so Bill was able to supply them with a couple extra tables.
Yeah, exactly. And they needed those extra tables. And there was good kits. They were not bad kits, but as you said, they had priced them. They didn't really know the market, and they had priced them based on unsold or asking prices off eBay, which were, as we generally know, are kind of not the best things to use as your marker.
Yeah. But
Uh,
they were willing to negotiate. I got a 132nd scale Tamiya Mark 9C Spitfire for $60.
right. They were
That was
willing to negotiate, but if you
no.
didn't ask and you didn't know, then you would just walk by and say that's too
Mm.
high. I'm not going to bother. And I think they probably lost a bunch of possible sales because they had not kind of made that clear.
Yeah, you
So,
got to be yelling out. They were willing to negotiate because they had some of the
yep,
old classic Revell missile subs or Lindbergh missile boats, and
yeah, George Washington, Andrew Jackson, the ones where you fold down the side and you can shoot the Polaris missiles out and all that kind of stuff. I had one of those when I was a kid. They had about seven of those things.
yeah, but
They
they
wanted
were all
over a
like a
hundred
hundred
bucks each.
$180 or something.
Yeah, that was
Kind of
crazy.
unfortunate. They're nice kits, but I'm not. I think myself and a few other people aren't willing to part with that much. But again, lots of good. They seem to sell quite a bit, and lots of good other things. We had the barrel store there. We had Mr. Ed Kubiak.
Yep.
Um, we
Barrel
had
store.
a
I talked to the barrel store guy, and he was basically he said, yeah, they didn't have a bad day. It was wasn't they had better days, but at the same time, it was still pretty good, and it was worth their
Yep.
coming.
Yep, with
So
Sean's
good.
Sean's custom model tools. He's got a couple of new products we're going to do a review on, including a
Yeah.
holder for super glue. So you won't
Oh,
knock over your thin bottle of super glue.
Hmm.
So that'll
well, it
be,
depend. And I'm assuming it's like the standard sized
yeah.
super glue because I've been
Yep.
using I picked up a new couple of new super glue containers from Flexifile. They look like this.
Oh, yeah.
They're like squeeze pens.
Interesting.
And they're really good, but you have to change your style because the stuff comes out real quick.
Oh, dear. Okay. So yeah, lots of stuff. A shortage of tools again.
Yeah.
None of the stores that came, again, stores, if you're hearing us and you're vending, bring tools down because our local shops don't have the display stuff and stuff like that. We like tools.
We like tools.
We like tools. That was unfortunate. But no, other than that, it was an excellent day. We ended up in the black, so that's good. We made a little bit of money, not much, but a little bit, which is
Very little
always
bit.
which is always better than being in the red.
Well,
Uh,
we found this year the rent had gone up a little bit, not a lot, but within reason. But the cost of awards had like tripled. It was
yeah, the
ridiculously high.
Wow.
insurance doubled and just
So our
yeah.
costs went through the roof, and we actually and we didn't change the pricing of anything really.
No entry. Yeah, we kept the same entry fee and stuff like
So
that.
I think
So,
we've done our bit for trying to protect people's wallets. I think next time we're going to probably have to do
yeah.
some price
And
increases.
there's a chance, there's some talk we might move to every year, but we're going to definitely change the month.
A lot depends on whether we get more volunteers to
Yeah,
help with the planning.
that's the big secret. We need, as we all know, running a show needs volunteers. We need people not just on the day, but with the planning.
It's always the little red hen effect, right? Like, who will help me plan my show? Oh, who will come to my show? I will, I will, I will. Jesus, come on.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's all good. It was a
But
good
there we
time.
go. There we go.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was it. So if you have any comments, if you're at the show and you had a chat with us, and or you didn't get a chance to have a chat with us, make sure you write us an email with your comments at scalemodelpodcast@gmail.com. We love
I,
hearing from you guys.
I was pleased. A couple of people came up and said they'd heard us on the show, they listened to the show.
Yep.
And I thought, really? Somebody listens to this?
Somebody
Somebody
listens.
apparently listens. We have fans. I
I
keep
was
saying.
shocked.
I know.
Very
People
nice people.
people would come up to me and say, "Well, where's Geoff?"
Nobody punched me. It was nice.
Well, that's
Who says modelers don't have low standards?
Exactly.
I tell you, exactly. Exactly. All righty, that's enough talks for shows for now. So let's get on with the hobby announcements. Ravel's got some repops, got some new releases, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. What should we start with? Let's start with the M109A2, 172nd scale. This is their, I think this is the Paladin howitzer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or-
Yeah. Kind of a purposeful looking machine, isn't it?
It is. It is. Used in Desert Storm. This is part of their built and paint series.
172nd scale.
Yep.
So it's smaller, but still it's big.
168 parts.
It's big for small.
Yeah.
It is big for small.
These are the CADs. Yeah, and I think the idea is it's a simplified one. Yeah, you just kind of
Yeah.
throw it together. Good for a wargaming table, for example.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, then we have this one's finally been released, the 1985 Chevrolet K5 Blazer from Stranger Things.
Yes.
So this is a repop. This kit's been around forever, but they've now done from the Hawkins police chief Jim Hopper Chevrolet Blazer.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah.
That's a show someday I need to watch. I have not ever watched a single episode of it.
It's very well done.
Yeah,
I have
it is.
issues. I have some issues, but every show is like that.
It's on my list. It's on my queue to
Yeah.
watch. But yes, this is an older classic one. They redesigned a little bit. Obviously new decal stuff like that. Then we have the Queen Elizabeth II ocean liner from Revell in 1/1200 scale, 24 centimeters in length. Can you
Pretty
imagine that?
small.
Can you imagine
36
that in 1/200th?
Oh, I can't imagine. Yeah. But it's only 36 parts, so it's pretty simplified.
Yeah, very simplified. Well, for that
You could-
scale, right?
Yeah, you got the basic shape of the ship, but
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the hull is slide molded as a single piece.
mm-hmm.
Looks like it.
Yep, looks like it.
Nice.
Yeah, nice little detail. Would make a nice gift for someone who sailed on boarder.
Yeah, or a younger modeler could
Yeah.
easily do this.
Yes.
Yep, definitely.
Yep.
All right. Then we have a tiny tornado from Revell, 1-1-144,
Teeny tiny tornado.
86
There we go.
parts in that teeny tiny tornado.
That's more than twice the number of parts in the Queen Elizabeth or whatever.
I know, eh?
Yeah.
Exactly. Swing wing system with up mechanics, finely detailed cockpit with realistic instrument panel and pilot seats.
Well,
In the-
Operation-
1/144th, it has to be fine, right?
Yeah,
It has to
yeah.
be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Finely detailed.
Royal Air Force and the German Naval Aviation.
Mm-hmm.
Always love the tornado, though.
Yep. And how about this one, Geoff? A nice Mercedes-Benz SSKL.
Yeah. I like this in 1/32nd scale, so it's not a bad
1931.
size.
Nope.
Yeah, it's not the traditional 124 car scale, but it's not bad.
7.1 liter engine and output of 300 horsepower. It set new standards for racing at the time. Multi-part
nice.
body with filigree surface structure for maximum authenticity. Yeah.
Yamato. There you go.
Yamato.
Authenticity.
Yamato.
Authenticity.
True to the original
Authenticity. Yes.
wire
We have a
rims.
new word.
We have a new word.
The
Wire
Shakespeare of our
rims.
time.
Exactly. Scale reproduction of that 7.1 liter
Nice.
engine. Yeah.
It's
Oh,
nice. Yeah, nice kit.
nice
Yeah.
looking.
This
Nice
this
looking
next
kit.
this next one looks quite nice.
Yes, 1/32nd scale BAE Systems Hawk, the T1A from the used by the RAF Air Demonstration Team, the Red Arrows.
Nice.
Big kit, 36.8 centimeters in width. Nice
Yeah.
looking. You need your gloss red there. Big
That's
time.
for the recent paint scheme on this, the
Yeah.
60th anniversary scheme.
Yeah,
Nice.
Yeah,
exactly.
that's worth a repop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen these built up at shows, and they are pretty.
They're very
You know,
nice.
look at these shots. This is a built model. A beautiful
Yeah.
job. No, I could see that one being on my list. Very nice.
Okay.
Well, in
Red
in
and white paint scheme. Tough.
in 32nd scale, it's not huge. 38
No,
centimeters. Well,
no.
39-ish centimeters wide.
Yeah. Yeah. Why? It doesn't give you the
Doesn't have
length.
a length. Doesn't have a
Doesn't give you
length
the
there.
length.
No.
It's got to be longer.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit longer, but it'll still be good.
That's hilarious. Oh, it's
Yep.
right there on the. Nope, that's the length. They have it wrong.
Yeah.
Because it's on the
Nice stuff.
on the box top. It says that 29 wide.
There you
Yeah.
go. There you
So
go.
it does take some shelf space.
Well, anything 32nd scale tends to take some shelf space. So,
Yeah.
okay, moving from Germany down to Italy. Italy, 5 releases in June. Again, a mix of repops, etc. 1/35th scale, the M47 Patton medium tank.
Yeah. This is got to be a repop. This one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
90 millimeter M3 gun, 810 horsepower engine. Lots of decals supplied. Looks like how many you got? You got 6 different marking choices here, including the Greek Army, U.S. Army, Egyptians,
Germans,
Germans, Italians, a little bit of everything. The Belgian.
It's kind of nice to have more than just olive drab. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, there's a couple of nice schemes there.
Yeah, that Greek scheme is pretty cool. The like woodland camo scheme.
Yep.
Yeah, I like that. That would definitely be top of my list, I think.
Yep. And
Very
then you've
cool.
got some newer parts, gluable rubber tracks, one figure. They show the parts there. Yeah, very nice.
Yep.
Okay,
Looks
then we
good.
have the AW101 Merlin in 1/72nd scale. This is the medium heavy multi-role helicopter developed with Augusta Westland in collaboration with Westland Helicopters. It's used, it was based on requirements by both the Royal Navy and the Italian Navy to replace the Sea King.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I have a previous version of this kit. It looks great in the box. I haven't built it, but
Yeah, 3 schemes. These 3 schemes are all with the Royal Navy.
All gray.
If you like your
Any
gray,
color you like, as long as it's gray.
as long as
Yep.
it's gray. Yep, some
Yeah.
slight variations there.
Yeah.
But it'll do a little bit of everything. Troop transport, SAR rescue, combat SAR missions, etc., etc. It'll go up to 310 kilometers an hour maximum speed, operational range exceeding 1,300 kilometers. That's a long way for a helicopter.
yeah,
That's pretty useful.
it's a big ship.
Yeah, a lot of fuel. But
Mhm.
as you can see, it looks good. Okay, then what do we have? The World War II Aces series, the MC202 Folgore Aces, 1/72nd
Folgore.
scale. Folgore.
Folgore. Same to you, buddy.
Folgore.
Yeah.
Was fitted with a German DB Daimler-Benz 601 engine produced under license. And these Italian camouflage schemes are always fun.
I love them. 70 seconds too small, but I have so many Italian stuff.
Yeah.
I haven't built one in ages, but keep buying them. Pretty
Yeah,
planes.
It's a
5 different
beautiful plane.
schemes. 5 different
It really
schemes.
is.
Yep.
Yep.
So that's
Well,
nice.
here we go. Keeping with the 1/72nd scale, God's own scale, apparently.
Apparently, a Mirage 2000, either the B or D model. This is a repop.
Mhm.
Yeah. Sharp looking plane, the classic sort of paper airplane.
Yeah.
Short. Yeah.
Yeah, but you've got a bunch of variations here. You've got the French Air Force. What else you got? The Brazilian?
You got France, kind of, I don't know what the last one is. Polemiki Aeroporto, is that Greece? I don't know.
Might be Greeks.
That's Greek. The
That's
blue
Greek.
and
Yep.
white.
Yep.
Yep.
Blue and white's
Yeah.
Greek, and then the
And then
Brazilian.
Brazilian, yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
Oh, it's a nice looking aircraft, the Mirage series.
And a bunch of dead Frenchmen.
Well, about to be dead Frenchmen.
Exactly.
You know, it
Exactly.
depends if it was at Waterloo or not. French infantry, 1798 to 1805 during the Napoleonic Wars. So wearing the post-revolutionary uniform and equipment, they were decisive in battles like Marilago and Austerlitz. Not so much at Waterloo.
Not so much.
Not so much. They were led by young and motivated officers who had an absolute faith in Napoleon.
That was a mistake.
Well, exactly. But then
Well,
you know,
Well, yeah,
yeah, I mean, for a
exactly.
while.
For a while. It's always for a while.
yep. And then, karma's a you know what.
Yeah.
All right, moving on.
Yep.
I think Terry will like this one. Mini Art's new 148 scale P47D 11RE Thunderbolt, the Razor Black. This is their basic kit.
Yeah, in yet another color scheme. This
Yep.
is Ninth Air Force. So I picked up the Pacific markings one, and this is Ninth Air Force out of Europe.
Yep.
I just love the reference pictures these guys put up. They're just
Yeah.
so good.
Yep.
You can go to town on this kit.
Yeah, and they've got the taped whatever
Yeah, the little
seams and
masking tape
everything.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Very nice.
It can be shown, the engine can be shown with the cowlings off or on. Engine comes with a wiring harness and photo etch parts around the firewall.
What, doesn't have pistons? I'm shocked. I'm shocked. It's mini art. I figured they'd have all the pistons.
Individual with the bolt.
Exactly.
That's the other version.
This is the basic
that's
kit.
the better.
This is the basic kit. But you've got quite a lot of ordnance load for your spares jar when you're done. It comes with
No
50
kidding.
pound, 100-pound, 250 and 500-pound bomb and smoke dischargers. Photo etch is supplied for the fins of these. Plus, you get 3 different types of fuel tanks.
Wow.
I see the paper. Oh, there's the belly tank. Yeah.
Yep.
So you get 2 paper tanks in the belly tank.
Yeah,
Nice.
two different marking choices. So yeah,
Well, if you don't have a Thunderbolt, this is a nice one to get.
Yeah.
and this is their basic kit for Mini Art.
Yeah, I know. That's probably advanced for almost any other manufacturer.
Okay, then Tacom's got their latest out of the Tacom Wings category. This is a one that hasn't been built, a new tool hasn't been built in quite a while. And this is in 148. This is the Henshaw 129 B2 and B3 kits in 148 scale. There's about 5 variations of this particular aircraft. So maybe this is the first 2 out of the five or so different ones. So yeah, so basically this was a ground attack aircraft. And it was known particularly the B3 because it had a great bloody, I think it was like a 75 millimeter cannon.
No, it says a 30 millimeter.
Well, that was the B2
autocannon.
That was the
Oh,
B2,
yeah, no,
and then
I
the
see.
B3 has a
Yeah.
75 millimeter for tank busting. A lot of so 2 different types of aircraft. They're also apparently, I believe, the B2 is going to have clear parts, so a clear
looks like it.
fuselage.
Yeah,
if you want,
got
yeah.
stringers all in there. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, a lot of different weaponry you're going to be able to get supplied with. So yeah, it's going to be good. ICM apparently is coming out with one as well. So it'll be interesting to see how this compares. But this gives you a lot of options. And as you can see from the B3 picture, you've got some internal stuff so you can display it with the clear parts.
Yeah, very nice.
The engine looks nice. 2 different types of wheels, both open and closed.
It kills me that for years you go along, you don't have a new tool of this plane, and now 2 come out.
Yep.
I see them in these guys. What the hell? Anyway.
Yeah. But that's going to be fun. Okay, Airfix. We talked about this when Airfix released their range launch in January, but this is coming out now. This is the Stalwart. This is a transport truck. Looks straight out of a Jerry Anderson Thunderbirds movie.
It really does. It really
I know.
does.
Yep. And this came out in the 60s. and they used it for years and years and years. It's amphibious and six wheels, three different schemes.
You can have a lot of fun with this one.
Oh yeah.
This has definitely got kit bashing sci-fi kind of
It's just
written all over
it's
it.
like universal carrier, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just an odd little truck,
Well,
Yeah, this is
I knew when they announced it, it made a lot
or
of
not so little.
British military modelers in the scale very, very happy.
it's the massive balloon tires, the six massive balloon tires that
Hmm.
really that gives it the Jerry Anderson look for
Hmm.
Yep.
sure.
And you actually access it. It doesn't have doors. You access it through the top hatches to maintain the tightness, the
Oh,
amphibious.
nice.
Yep. And the driving positions in the middle seat, so they didn't have to
Oh,
make left or right hand drive.
Huh.
okay. Well, yeah, Universal. There you go.
Yep. So
Nice,
that's kind
nice,
of cool.
nice
And then
pad.
yep.
Very nice.
Okay, moving on. Border has announced the 1/350th Imperial Japanese Navy, the heavy cruiser Takao, Takao. And the website takes a while to load, unfortunately. I think
It does.
they didn't optimize their images, unfortunately, which means you can probably zoom in, but you should see the photo etch in detail on this thing.
Yeah, it is taking forever to load. Sorry about
S-
that, guys.
a single integrated piece using external and internal slide molds for the hull, featuring meticulously, yeah, I haven't even started drinking yet. Meticulously reduced portholes, weld lines, and even the finest rivet details. One piece turret with four slide molding technology.
Well, Harold's going to want this one now, right?
It's
Oh, yeah.
astonishing. Yeah. All the slide mold work. If the
Look at
bridge
this.
section they say uses 4 slide mold systems.
And the fore and aft decks are pre-painted.
Yeah.
So this is quite the
A lot of 3D
this is
printed
quite a
stuff for
lot
the
of
little
3D.
things.
Yeah,
Yep.
This
for
is
the
a
photo etch, exactly.
this is
Oh, look at the
somebody's.
launches all the way at the bottom.
They're
Yep.
gorgeous. Look at them.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
beautiful. This is
Heck,
somebody's one
if
year project for
if this
sure.
thing doesn't have photo etch, heck, I'd build it.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of stuff that's well obviously photo etched, but a lot of it is done 3D printing. It does not
Yeah.
look like there's a huge amount of photo etch.
Nope, doesn't look like it.
Well, it's like the railings and that sort of thing, but the rest
Yeah.
of it, yeah, that's pretty standard. But yeah, that's beautiful. That's a beautiful kit.
Yep, Border continues to bring out some interesting things.
Nice.
Okay, let's turn over to what else can free us from our wallets. What's new at ScaleMates?
Oh God.
So we're recording this on June the 9th. I see June the 8th here.
I've got June 9th.
You got
I
June
just
9th? Let me
Yep.
I just
refresh.
brought it up. I
Oh,
guess
there
I
we
did.
go. I just refreshed my cache. Look at all this. More 172nd scale stuff, and
Yeah, lots of
148th, and 135th, and Albion
yeah.
3-point fueler, and all the major scales from Dogfight Workshop.
Wow. Nice.
You need one for your diorama.
Oh, always,
You
right?
need a fueler.
How about
Bueller?
Alpha? How about Alpha
Bueller?
Models?
Bu- Bueller?
Bueller?
Bueller? Yeah, exactly.
How
Or
about
Roger.
from Alpha Models, the Aston Martin 177 124 scale?
Isn't that a sexy beast? That's a sexy
That
beast.
looks nice. I think you should get a real one, Geoff.
But more importantly, there's also the land utility tractor standard N from Mini Art. Just two down from that.
135th scale. Yeah,
Yeah,
that looks nice.
That's
that's more
fun.
Jeff speed.
Yeah, it's my speed. The Aston Martin, I'm well past that. Oh,
Yeah,
oh, oh, sorry. Bren Gun 172, Tupolev TU 141 Striz. Look at that.
June
What the
8th.
heck? What is that?
It's a cruise
Exper
missile.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
Yeah,
Almost looks a bit like a ripoff of a Navajo or something.
yeah. Form follows function, right?
Yeah,
oh, the Ferrari
nice.
412 from the 95 Canadian Grand Prix in 143rd
Yeah,
scale. That'd be a nice size. How about the armored locomotive from Landships Modeling, a digital 3D print file? The Austrian-Hungarian MAV 377 armored locomotive.
That is a weird looking thing.
135th. It was really that simple looking. It was all just armor slabs.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
looks like it.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah. Don't bother shooting at it. Just blow up the track. Pretty straightforward.
going back to the 7th here,
Oh,
the
oh, oh,
Armstrong Whitworth
yeah.
AW169.
Yes. You
This is one of the British aircraft industry when they were doing all these experimental stuff.
you had me at pointy nosed long,
Yeah.
airplanes. Oh,
Unfortunately, never
Where
built.
yeah, that's cool. Wright Flyer in 148.
That'd be a good size.
Wouldn't be bad. It'd be
3D
better than
printed.
better than the old kit that's out there now. Was it
You
Lindbergh or
know,
something? I don't
Lindbergh
remember.
or Revell or something
Monograph,
like that.
Rebel.
Yeah,
Yeah,
one of the U.S. companies.
very old. Yeah.
Mhm. I should also point out AirScale. He does a lot of 3D printed aftermarket, but he's also doing some aircraft.
Hmm.
He just recently released the 132nd scale Defiant. Now he's announced a Hawker Typhoon 1B and 132nd scale,
Wow.
Wow,
which is
that's
going to
big.
have all the goodies in there. Bunch of stuff from Bandai Spirits. This is
No
ver
pictures.
no various IPs,
Yeah.
Robot Wars, Armored Core, Fires of Rubicon, etc. Hopefully, we'll see some pictures. June 4th. What do we got here?
We got the Skoda PA1, another funky armored car. That's kind of cool. In
148
148.
scale.
Skoda did the turtle too, right? I'd
Yeah.
like to
Yes, they
find one of
did.
those.
Yes, they did. How about a Caterpillar?
Wow, that is
Cat Cat
odd.
Dozer. Cat
One.
D5. Yeah.
Don't even try.
D5NXL.
Don't even. Yeah. It's another weird looking six wheeler snake model 172 BTR 152 V1. That must be Russian or Polish, maybe. No, Russian.
Russian. You must think in Russian.
Yeah. You look
Then
at
we
it.
got
Well,
June the 3rd, some Salvatore JR models, Joey Logano's 2024 championship winner Ford Mustang.
and
What
some
else?
some half naked Japanese girls. There we go. And then there's the heavy cruiser Takao, and they're also bringing out the battle
And they're
cruiser
doing a
Congo.
Congo
Congo.
and one
Yeah,
350th.
one
Oh,
three fifty.
I
yeah.
didn't see that on their website. That drives me nuts. They never
Yeah.
update these companies. They announce it on Facebook and then they don't talk about it on their website.
Well, it's the next number in the series. Like the
Yeah,
Takao is 005. This is 06. So maybe it'll be the next one.
Maybe a
Who
little
knows?
too early for it.
maybe.
Could
Oh,
be.
but they put it on here.
Yeah.
So, it drives me nuts. Drives me nuts. Okay, bunch of
Short
stuff
trip.
from Short Trip, I know. June 2nd from More Game Zone. We have looks like an Italian flamethrower tank. Carl Ligero, L640 Flamer, an SDKF 250
Mit
Schweiner, Panzerblue
Schwerer Panzer
Sure.
with a 15 millimeter cannon, looks like on the front end.
Schwerer Wehrmacht Schlepper.
And then we have a Schlepper
SFWS.
below. Yep.
Yeah.
Another scantily clad young lady.
Yeah.
What else here? We got a Iron Shipwrights coming out with a Charlie 2 NATO classification sub.
Yeah.
Charlie 1 and the Charlie 2.
Yeah.
Oh, HMS Classic Castle class Corvettes, 43 to 45 from Triumph models.
1/700 scale. Waterline.
Yep. Aladdin models, Aston Martin DB5, the James Bond edition with the full interior with the engine.
Wow, with a digital 3D data file. So that's pretty
Yep.
pretty
That
You can
that
print
is
it
the
yourself.
file. You got to print it.
You got to
Yeah.
print it yourself.
That will take a while.
And then from a company called Kingdom Death, 54 mil, Blood
Yeah.
Mages, Poison Partisan.
Illuminated lady,
Kingdom
bravado,
Death
the
makes
mole.
Yeah, Kingdom Death makes a lot of really cool minis.
Yeah, they got some nice ones. The mole looks nice with a 100 millimeter base and scenic insert. That's not like any mole I've seen before,
It's a
thank
very
goodness.
unusual looking mole. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm glad we don't
that
have
is.
that in the yard.
No, that would have been terrifying. BF-109 V1. Interesting. That must have been like the from
Original.
Dogfighter's model 172, May
That
29.
would have been the original,
The
the
original
first prototype.
prototype.
Yeah,
Yeah,
first prototype of it.
quite different.
Yeah, you
Interesting.
don't see too many of those.
No,
Anything else here that's catching our eye?
I'm just there's a
Though,
whole bunch
Very
of
Fires has a 135th Curtis SB2C Helldiver.
Yeah.
More and more coming out in the 1/35th scale.
135.
Yeah, fascinating.
Yeah.
Whoever Verifier is.
There's a ton of 172 military vehicles. It's obviously wargaming, but that's a lot. And they're all going to be like 3D printed, I would imagine.
Yeah. Fire, they've done some battleships before, Terry.
Hmm.
I know they did the Montana in 700 scale. I remember that. But yeah, they've done a few things
Oh,
like
this is
that.
one that caught my eye. I forgot to do this. The F4B4, the Boeing naval fighters.
Yes. Clear prop.
Yeah, in
148.
48th.
Nice.
This
From May
these
27th. Yeah.
these and the Curtiss fighters have been such underserved subjects. This between the wars, 1920s, like all the
Yeah.
we got Hasegawa kits in 32nd from like the late 70s or
Yeah, that
early
was the
80s,
last
and
time.
that's
Yeah.
about it.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're beautiful little plane. I mean, I had a 72nd scale one years ago,
Hmm.
and it's just they're built up. They're really little jewels. You can really do a nice
Hmm.
job on 'em. 148 be perfect.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a good place to stop.
I think that's a good place to stop. We got to stop somewhere.
Gonna stop somewhere. But yeah, always check it out from our good friends at ScaleMates.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Speaking of good friends, just returned back from Wonderfest, our good buddy at Cult TV Man. Here we go with what's new and exciting post Wonderfest. Let's see what's new from our friends at CultTVManShop.com. On pre-order, Vampirella, the Gonzalez version reissue. 1/8 scale from X, estimated between $50 and $75, but you can do a pre-order now. Available now, The Art of Ron Gross, the 2026 calendar from Lost in Space. Also, Cosmic Scale Models has a few new exciting things from Star Trek, the old series, the original series, I should say, the Landing Party figures, 1/32nd scale, $29.99. You get 4 figures there in that set. And then also for your Space 1999 fans, they haven't forgotten about you. They've got Moon Buggy and the astronauts in 1/72nd scale and 1/48 scale. And they've also got the Eagle pilots and crew in 1/72nd scale and Eagle pilots in 1/48 scale from Cosmic Scale Models. The 72nd scale items are $24.99 and $29.99 for the Moon Buggy and astronauts in 1/48th, and the Eagle pilots in 1/48th are $19.99. Skyhook has from the classic sci-fi It Came From Beneath the Sea, a giant octopus about to climb up and use the Golden Gate Bridge as a climbing apparatus, or lunch, one of the two. They also have the flying saucer from the day the Earth stood still. Those are both $79.99, so make sure you check those out. What else? Tons of restocks from Aztec Dummies. They've got the refit Star Trek, the Aztec paint masks in 1/350th, the 1/1000th D7 painting mask, and the Constitution class painting mask. They've got the Chariot paint mask, the Proteus 1/32nd scale paint masks, our good friends at Paragraphics, Strange New World Starship, Hangar Bay Mount, and the detail set in the Hangar Bay, the Falcon Gunport set for the AMT MPC Millennium Falcon, and much, much more. So make sure you check out CultTVManShop.com and tell them the Scale Model Podcast sent you. Okay, and we did an interview a few minutes before we recorded this with a Wonderfest wrap up with Terry and George Seletas. So we're just going to go right into it. Here we go. And now we're time for the interview segment here on the Scale Model Podcast. Terry, take it away, because you know this returning guest better than any of us.
I think I do. Whether I know him well or not, that remains to be seen. We have George Seletas, head judge at Wonderfest, joining us for a Wonderfest wrap up. Head judge and basement dweller George Seletas, everybody.
Welcome, George.
Good to see you back, George. I'm sorry about Terry there. He was supposed to be a little bit nicer about that.
Everyone gets something.
Basement dweller. Honestly, that's cold.
Yeah, it's cooler than it is outside most of the time in Louisville, that's for sure.
Yeah, this basement is dug out of bedrock, so it's 66 degrees down there, whether it's 90 out there or 50.
That's all right. That's all right. That's the way to do it.
It actually can be a problem if I'm trying to run my 3D printer.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I can see
Yeah.
that. I can see that. So Wonderfest was
So what?
last weekend when we recorded.
Uh-huh.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. I forget which number show it is, but it's been a while. I've been going since '99. You've been going for quite a while too. So
Yeah, 2004 is
nice.
when I first came.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the show has evolved a lot over the last really over the last 5 or 6 years. It's evolved a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And the contest especially. It's run well now. It's better organized, better tools, uh, good cadre of judges, and
Right.
we keep trying to get more
Right.
more experienced people in to learn to judge. And like we all say, you learn by judging for sure.
Sure.
So for those of you uninitiated, it's an open system, gold, silver, bronze, whole bunch of different categories from figures, dioramas, hardware, props. The props section is growing pretty nicely. I got to judge that and it was beautiful. There's some nice stuff in there.
Sure. It sure was. Yep.
So
Um,
give us
yeah,
some of the numbers and the details and all that good
Yeah.
stuff.
We put 1,085 on the tables this year.
Holy
Wow.
cow.
Now to be it is not lost on me. We're about 50 shy of our record last year.
hmm
And it is not lost on me because our friends from Canada didn't come down.
Yeah, we're sorry about that.
And that's I
Well,
understand.
we're just
No
inherently
criticism.
sorry, right? I mean, that's our thing. So
But yeah, I mean, as far as worth, they're good for 50 to 75 entries a year. So that would have put me over the top again.
Mhm.
That's
Yep.
understandable. That's all right. I'm not looking to break records every year. I'm just looking to keep constant and have fun.
well,
Awesome.
a couple more
Yep.
years, maybe we'll be back. Who knows?
I hope. Yep.
I hope so too.
Yeah. So did anything stand out to you, George, in the show, in the contests?
Yeah, there was a couple things. The forgive me for not remembering his last name, but there was a fellow by his first name's Craig. He brought that gorgeous scratch built asteroid hauler, for lack of a better term. It
Yeah.
was on a tripod over in the corner by Fine Scale Modeler. And man, I just kept staring at that. It's masterful. It's one thing, we're lighting stuff, but now we're getting animatronics, right?
Yes.
Wow.
he's got the
Wow.
he's got the gravitational ring slowly, realistically moving. So that was fantastic. The other thing I really loved was on the other side of the room with figures. I'm not up on that mythic stuff that much, but there was it was really big piece. I believe the one character is called the Death Dealer. Is that right?
On
But
the
anyhow,
horse with the axe.
Yes.
Franz Frazetta?
Yes.
Frank Frazetta?
Yeah.
Rosetta, yeah. Just spectacular. I stared at that thing all weekend. He had contacted me in July or June. Wait a minute, I got my J's mixed up. January, asking he had something really big and wanted to know if he could bring it. Very polite, super nice guy. Said, "Look, if it's too big, I understand. I won't bring it." I said, "Well, send me a picture of it." Yeah, right, Terry. And I get this picture. I'm like, "Oh my god."
You
Yeah, we
must
got
bring
lots
it.
of room. Bring it.
Yeah. We'll make things work. We'll put small stuff in front of it.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. But I really liked the last couple of years. A lot of folks with the bigger stuff have been calling me well ahead of time.
That's
I
great.
really appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
got to talk with the guy who brought that big 3D printed Cygnus from the black hole.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
cool.
that's a showstopper right there. And
Isn't
yeah,
it?
a
Yeah.
little bit of highlight work on it, and it could be, it'll
And it
sing.
was, yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I got to chat with him for quite a bit. That was really good.
See,
And
I kept missing him. I wanted to talk to him too. Yeah.
well, I got lucky in being able to escort him out of the
Yeah.
contest.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So I spent the whole weekend. People were staring at it that didn't know what it was.
Wow.
They're like, well, that's just gorgeous, And they're talking to me about it, and I said, yeah, you think? I said, wait till it's lit, because he hadn't turned the lights on.
Oh,
Mm.
So I went on explaining to, gosh, a dozen people that it kind of glows. glows, gold yellow on the inside, like the base. And then later on, I saw a couple of people that I was talking to over there looking at it. You could just talk. They were just pointing and
yeah, it's such just all this truss work and all this stuff in this model.
Yeah.
Just like the original, filming miniature, I'm sure just the more you look, the more you see.
Sure. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Well,
I also saw there was also a diorama of in the never-ending story of the horse drowning scene.
Oh,
I got to talk to her a bit.
Yeah.
It was her first Wonderfest. It's a well-deserved gold. Yeah.
Yeah. She kind of cleaned up.
Yeah. Yeah. It was stunning work. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Please come back next year.
Yes.
Well, yeah, there is so many, and it's just, an overflow. One of the ones I particularly liked was the one where someone took a TIE interceptor kit and an X-wing kit and merged it together. So it's got an X-wing with the TIE solar panels. That was kind of cool. Just a whole variety. So many that just tough to, like I said, I always feel sorry for the judges because they have such a tough job, you guys.
Yeah, you really shouldn't. You really shouldn't, because judging over the years, I get to see people. I know who some people's work. That's how it worked. Either they shared it in the progress, or I just know their style, and I get to see them improve year over year.
Yes.
And it's like, yes, finally I get to give this guy a silver, or finally I get to do it. And it's like, oh, it's just gratifying. They're listening to criticism and they're improving. And it's great.
Truly, yeah. I'll give you a great example of a judge's job. I didn't get a chance to tell you, Terry. There was a 1/350th Polar Lights Enterprise, the refit.
Mm-hmm.
It was down towards the end of the tables down there, and me and Matt had been staring at it for quite a while. And what I loved about it is the paintwork was spectacular. Everything was really, really good on it. But what I really liked about it is he didn't light the crap out of it. It was very, very subtle. That tells me the guy's confidence in his building skills, right?
Yes.
I don't mind telling you, I was going to give it a gold. And I walked away to grab my water bottle, and I was coming back. I saw a couple seams. I'm like, oh, no. So that's what judges can go through sometimes. And I don't mind saying that, putting that out there. It was spectacular. It was so well done, except for that. I'm like, God.
That does happen, and it's unfortunate. Yeah,
I know.
And those big kits are tough. The stresses on those, you really have to build some internal structure in them, or seams are going to pop.
Yep. And amongst all the miniatures, if I was down there and wanted to put a challenge coin down, I love the one with what they did. I think they called it the Man and the Monster, the guy in the Godzilla suit.
Yeah.
That was good. I had a chuckle on that one too.
There were, I think, 3 of those. I think there were 3.
Oh, were there? Okay.
Rob Schmitz was the colored one.
Mm-hmm.
And then I can't remember the other fellow that did a black and white version. I thought was really cool.
Yeah, that was impressive.
I kind of like that black and white stuff.
Yeah. And in miniatures, there was a lance of 4 battle mechs. And I saw it and I'm like, oh, that's got to be a gold. And I came back later on and it got a gold. It was like
good.
Yeah, that was gratifying. Yeah, there were always some nice miniatures up and down every year.
So the other thing I'd like to point out, as far as consistency goes, my old Pittsburgh club that I was in for 15 years, we had a modeler. It's been a modeler at the Pittsburgh club that's been there for 30 years, a fellow by the name of Barry Numerick. Barry has won, I dare say, dozens of first places at IPMS Nats, and he loves his ME-109s and his FW-190s, and they are all spectacular. And for years, me and a fellow member up in Pittsburgh were messing with them guys, come down to this sci-fi horror fantasy stuff. Let's see what you got. So he's come 3 years now, and every time he walked out of that room with a gold.
Awesome.
And
awesome.
Those sort of entries, as you're looking past, they just make you stop and go, oh well, now let's have a look at this.
That's Barry. He did that tribe fugal. or Flugel.
Yes. Oh yeah. I knew what
That
you
was
were talking
Barry.
about. Yeah.
So good modeling is good modeling, I guess.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Another one I really enjoyed. Ken Takahashi. I think this is the first time he's been out here. He's from out in Denver. He brought that Japanese lantern display. The
Is that
shop
his?
that was his.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It wasn't. It's the wrong venue for it. I guess it got a merit. It was like I couldn't stop looking at it, and everyone goes by and like I can't stop looking at this because it's like 1/10 scale ish, I think.
Yeah.
And there's just a whole bunch of different Japanese lanterns in it. It was beautiful.
I thought it was gorgeous. Yeah,
it was.
And the lanterns were perfectly in scale, like brightness. They weren't like glaring or
yellow, not white. You know, it's fantastic. Yeah. So you never know what you're gonna find at Wonderfest.
True.
Yep.
So how did Iron Modeler go? Did we have a interesting winner there?
It was. So last year there were like 4 entries with religious themes. This year 2 Shakespeare references.
Interesting.
Okay.
What are they talking to each other or something?
No, no, but there were a lot of teams. It was big. I think it was 8 or 10.
Wow.
And the ones who win it quite a fair number of times, and they built the longest piece we've ever seen. It was all of 4 feet long.
Holy
and
cow.
could separate into pieces and could be put back together like something out of Ultraman.
Yep.
How very
That's
cool.
Amazing.
It was bizarre. So the pieces, what was the first one? It was some shuttle. Some old shuttle kit, and then they were given ping pong balls halfway through.
Yeah, see, I missed all that because I was busy with the judging and stuff, but I did see the end results. And I'm like, hey, dog balls, and I started laughing. I'm like, okay,
yeah.
And any particular highlights from the from the guests and stuff like that?
I never get to see the guests because I'm doing the demos, and George never gets to see the guests.
Yeah. Although I will say on Sunday in the afternoon, it was, I don't know who did it, but Robin Curtis was one of our guests. And I really wanted to see her because everybody tells me she's just a sweetheart, really nice. And I didn't get to, but somebody sent her up to me. She come in there looking for me.
Oh, good.
And yeah. We had like a 5-minute conversation. She's everything everybody said she was, just really nice.
That's
so
good.
I didn't even get time to talk to Rick Sternbach.
Well, he's always nothing but trouble, right? You gotta, like that's what I was going to ask you.
Yeah, he's always moving like 100 mile an hour too. He's always going somewhere.
He's going somewhere, doing something.
Well, panels, his own table. He did a demo on setting up decals this year.
Oh, cool.
All that kind of process. So, yeah.
So that would have been fun. So sounds like another fantastic show.
Another exhausting weekend.
Yeah.
So so now of course the inevitable question: how bad were the pair of you with the vendors?
Volume wise? Or...
Well, no. Like personally, how bad were you with your shopping experience?
Rhino is there, and he has a lot of Japanese tools.
Right.
So a bag of stuff from him was like $200 of stuff, just because some of these things are expensive. I'm like, I think I can use this. I bought a kit at Scale Reproductions of the YF-19 in Batroid mode. And remember a couple weeks ago I said when we had the what scale would you get rid of? And I said 1/43rd.
Yeah. What'd you get? You got a 1/43rd.
1/43rd.
There we go. Ingram and reactive armor.
Yeah, AV98 Ingram from Pat Labor. Yeah, in the armor. I'm like, well, I think I got to buy that.
All right. What about you, George?
So you got it from Brian at Scale Reproductions there?
No, that YF-19 mech I did. This one I bought from John. I didn't even know he had it in there. Yeah, from Starship Modeler. It was sitting up on the shelf. I'm like, well, I got $100 bill. I can buy that.
That seems perfectly valid.
Yeah.
And Lester knew that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
He's like, really? I've had that kit for years. It's like, I never saw it.
Okay, George, how about you? Time to fess up.
I didn't. You know what? I didn't do anything in the dealer's room this year. I went in there.
You were a
I
good
ran right
boy.
back out. Well, I saw one thing I wanted from my buddy Keith at Cosmic Models from the UK.
Right.
Keith's a personal friend too. I met him at Telford 3 years ago, I think it was, and I was on him. You got to come to Wonderfest. You got to come to Wonderfest. I'm telling you, And he came last year and sold everything he had, and this year he brought too much, and he was trying to get rid of stuff. And he had a Trek shuttle on 124 scale that I was on the fence about, and he said. I told him, I said, I was on doing business with a vendor in there for the show. And I said, well, I'll be back. I never got back. I went in the next morning, it was gone.
So that's a sign from the gods.
That's on me.
Yeah.
I did pick up some of this, the Squadron TOS series paints.
Oh, good.
So I'm going to see how those go. I've got some conversion sets for the TOS, that I've been wanting to do for ages.
Right.
So,
Sure.
Well, that'll be interesting to see. Yeah, I've heard interesting things about it. So.
I don't think it has. I'll wait for George to finish drinking.
Water.
I don't think it has enough shades of gray in there.
How about duck egg blue? Do they have anything like that? I painted a starship duck egg blue to bring to Wonderfest back in 2005 just to make people mad.
Nice.
Excellent. That's the kind of thing I would do. I love it. Yeah, you have to wind up the rivet counters sometimes.
Yeah.
Let the gnashing of teeth begin.
Yeah,
that's
I love
not the right color.
Excellent. Well, that's awesome. So it sounds like it's going to be it's only what 51 weeks until the next one.
Something like that. Yeah.
Something like that. So
next year though, I'm looking forward to that. Star Trek 60th anniversary.
Oh man, how to feel old.
And
I
can't say who, but we just talked to a guest that's 99% probably going to come next year.
That's good.
And I'm pretty fired up about it.
That'll be good.
Yeah, we had a couple cancellations this year, but hopefully not.
The guest isn't really Trek related, but that's okay. They're gonna love it. So
excellent. Well, we look forward to hearing about that and talking about it here on the podcast. So, George, thank you once again for joining us tonight, and for you and Terry to give us the updates, and for all of us who couldn't be there, we really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Oh, you're welcome. Anytime.
Yep,
Alrighty.
there's plenty of pictures online out there. So I gotta get some of the
there's
links.
just so much good stuff coming out of that show.
Yeah.
Every year it's fascinating.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you again, George.
All right.
Now we're going to talk a bit about Sean's Custom Model Tools, one of our other sponsors of the Scale Model Podcast. Some very cool things, both 3D printed and the Goodman Super Sanding Blocks. Let's start with the Microset and Microsole Decal Set Bottle Stand. This is purposely designed for the microscale set and sole. Most modelers over the years, they've tipped these bottles over. So this is a very handy thing. At $14.95, you can put them both together. They're printed in blue and red for easy identification. Comes with a black base, and they actually have little magnets on it, so it keeps them in place. Definitely a good deal. I use mine all the time, and I can well recommend them. Let's talk a bit about those Goodman Model Super Sanding Blocks, namely the Value Pack Combo for $28.99. You get the 80 grit, 180 grit, 220, 320, 400, and 600. Just an amazing set, just what you need. And you can also, if you want, you can also get a super sanding block stand for it, which also really makes life a little bit easier, helps things keep it organized. The other thing too is they have the awesome model tape dispenser for your various tapes. It's basically a 3D printed thing. You put spools of your tapes. It's got a little razor blade to help cut it, and it's Really, really good design. So yeah, works out really well, and yours for 1995. So check out these and other amazing deals at seanscustommodeltools.com, and also on Facebook, and tell them that the Scale Model Podcast sent you. And we also decided to also have our ad from Sean's Custom Model Tools, so you heard that as well. It was good to see Sean at the show.
Yep.
He's got some new stuff coming, including a super glue holder. I'm going to do a review on it and do some pictures of it. So that's going to be coming soon as well. Okay, what's on the bench? What's on the bench? Not much. With the model show planning and life in general, no time for bench work at all the last 2 weeks. I've really got to make some decisions about finding some display space because I've been working on those little. I've got room. I finally am full. I did the BattleTech, some of the BattleTech minis, some of the support vehicles, and I'm out of display space now. So I have to make some decisions. Like it's not like we have room to put more display cabinets. So I have to make some decisions about whether I'm going to box some stuff up, try and sell them, whatever. I've got years upon years of kits. And it's just a matter of figuring out what. So we'll see what happens.
You need to curate your collection, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And unlike some people who lose their shit when they see other people posting about going into the bin, I have no problem with that. Sorry, guys. Whoever may be losing their shit right now upon hearing that, I'm sorry in advance.
Yeah, I did that a couple of years ago. I need to do it again. I'm just running out of space.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the whole point for us, for me anyway, is not the displaying of the model; it's the building of the model.
Yeah.
So once it's done, I kind of lose a bit of interest in
it. I keep debating. I keep looking at some of these semi-portable photo booths on Amazon, like white boxes. I might get one and for ones that are going, I'm going to take a nice set of pictures of them, dust them, take a nice set of pictures, and then I'll make the decision if they're going into a box or they're going out. But I might do that.
Yeah, I can see that being an option. Definitely. I like looking at the pictures of them better than I like looking at the actual model.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
Then I don't have to bend down to look at them.
Exactly. Here. I agree. I know with some of them, exactly. Especially the ones at the bottom shelf. You go, oh yeah, I have that one. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And like how I got what, at least 2 more Hurricanes in the stash. I got to build 3 more Spitfires. How many do I need?
And you're probably the one you build now is probably going to be an improvement over the one you have.
Exactly. So definitely have a look at that. And they gave me joy when I was building it. That's almost a topic on its own.
Yeah, it is.
Alrighty, Geoff. How about you? You've had an exciting couple of weeks.
Well, you talk about having life getting in the way. I don't know. Did we talk about my adventures with the windstorms in London?
We did talk about your adventures in the windstorms. We haven't talked about your latest adventures, though.
Oh, okay. So we talked about the first one where we donated our house to the neighbors whose house was bisected by a 50-ton oak tree.
Yikes.
Right. So we talked about that. So we got kicked out of our London house and we're staying down at the lake, which is not a hardship. And they're staying in our house until their longer term rental comes to fruition, which is July 1st. So that's pretty good. We don't have much longer to wait. In the meantime, London had another windstorm. Like 2 weeks after the first one that wrecked their house, another windstorm comes in. And the way it seems to work in our neighborhood, we get these things. They're like EF0 down things.
Downbursts, microbursts.
Yeah, microbursts. And they come down and they follow like a track, much like a tornado would. So houses on one side and then 50 feet, nothing happens. And right down the middle, it's decimated. And that's what happened again in our neighborhood. It blew down through our backyard, and Lynn and I were out in Alberta doing a dinosaur tour, which we'll talk about in a minute. And got a photograph from our people staying in our house with a picture of this big tree in our backyard that came down and just missed the house by about a foot. But it's a huge basswood tree, and that required a fair bit of cleaning up. Our arborist was going to charge $2,000 to take it, get rid of it. I'm not going to worry too much about the money, but I was more concerned about him taking all the wood because basswood's excellent wood for carving and stuff like that. So I thought, if I can go in and I can harvest as much as I can with the tools that I've got, and then I'll have him come in and do the last bit of it. Well, my brother came down for a couple of days. We wound up cutting the whole damn tree, and I sliced 3-foot bits off of the base, 3 foot in diameter, 3 inches thick. So I've got about 6 of those. I'm going to make little outdoor tables out of them.
Cool.
But in the process of cleaning up all the brushwood, I was using my DeWalt electric chainsaw. I was using it one-handed and holding the piece with my other hand, my left hand, and the chainsaw kicked back and sliced into my index finger. So I got 3 stitches in my index finger on my left hand, which has been frustrating, very frustrating. I don't like that. So that was the adventure. We'll talk about the books I've been reading, which tie into this trip that Lynn and I took out to Alberta. We've always gone to the mountains in Alberta. This time we went to the mountains for a few days, and then we decided we're going to go over to the Badlands. I've never been to the Badlands of Alberta, which is dinosaur country. And we went to Drumheller and to Brooks, Alberta, where the Royal Tyrrell Museum and Dinosaur Provincial Park are. And it's just so awesome. It's so different from anything else. I'd highly recommend anybody who's interested, go out and take a trip out there. It's really cool. And this is the time of year to do it because it's a bit cooler and it's not as crowded as it will be in the summer. Anyway, got all hooked up on dinosaurs. And as Stuart was talking at the beginning, last fall, Steve Harvey, this modeler in London, passed away. One of the things he had done a lot of is dinosaur models, like skeletal models. And cleaning out his apartment, all of these were going to go in a dumpster. And I looked at them and I can't do this. And I know my grandkids will love dinosaurs. So I picked up a bunch of them with skulls and various other things, and a couple of fully done models, but they had been broken. They'd fallen apart. They had nice stands and everything, but they'd fallen apart. So I decided as part of this trip out to Alberta that I would try and rebuild them. So I've rebuilt them as a tribute to Steve, and really nice. They look lovely. So I've got pictures of those. They'll be on the show notes.
Yep.
And some of you listeners may remember last year I built a monogram 148 scale DC3 for my brother, who wanted a bush plane / rescue thing that he could hang from the ceiling of his cottage. And we made some special decals for it for Nana and Pop's Rescue Service with a logo of a bear bum farting, basically. and the pilot was my brother's nom de plume, Rocco Flame Fart. Well, anyway, he was so impressed with that, and all of his friends come up and comment on it. Now he wants more vehicles for his fleet, so I'm now building a Heller 1/72 scale DC6 in Nana and Pop's markings with another plane flown by Rocco Flame Fart at some point.
Love it. Love it.
Lastly, because I'm taking up way too much of your time, I pulled out from a collection that I picked up from somebody else who had started to have dementia, and he had about 6 versions of the Hobbycraft 128 Fokker DR1 or the Revell 128 Fokker DR1. So I kept one just to try and play around with it. It's like a 1950s or 1960s mold, but it's really not bad, and it's big. It's a nice big triplane. And it's kind of fun to make. And it's got 3 little figures in it that are good size. One of them I added to the T-Rex or the Velociraptor. I'm not sure. I think it's a T-Rex skeleton because it seems to be just the right size to fit in his claws. It looks great. The kids freak out on it. And the rest of them I'm going to try and do something with. Try to figure out how to paint figures, something that's been my bugaboo for forever, but I'll give it a try. So anyway, that's me, and sorry to take up so much of your time, guys.
Well, that's what happens when you're retired, right? You got all this time.
I do.
You do. Exactly. How about you, Terry?
Still cleaning up the bench area. They getting rid of stuff out of the out of that tool chest there to make that more usable. Now I can actually see the bench surface again.
Yay.
I'm getting stuff, stuff sit there, then stuff goes back, all that kind of stuff. So hopefully by the weekend I'll have that have space again to do some stuff, move things around, uncovering all these projects that are half done. So, you know how that is.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
But I did get base coats on those 2 Reaper Dragons, and the mechs are moving along a little bit here and there, because that I can take the box, sit in somewhere else and work on them and come back. But eventually
Awesome.
those will have to get painted too. So, and then actually have some dedicated workspace again.
Cool.
So yeah, it's moving along.
Good stuff. Okay, let's go right into what we're reading. Not much. I'm still working on the notebook by Roland Allen, about halfway through. Quite interesting. It not only covers notebooks, but like you've got a little bit of like the history of accounting in notebooks and stuff like that. Again, you think it'd be boring, but it's actually quite fascinating. I'm learning
I
learning
when
quite
I
a bit.
read when I saw that you were reading the Notebook, I thought it was that romantic movie
Yeah.
No,
thing.
no, absolutely not.
Now what
Nonfiction.
what has happened to Stuart?
Nonfiction.
Hmm.
Okay, how about you, Geoff?
Well, as I was saying, we did the dinosaur trip in Alberta, and while out there, I picked up a couple of books, and I read them on the trip. The Rise and Fall of the Dinosaurs by Steve Broussat. I think that's how you pronounce his last name. It's a
Yep.
fairly modern, up-to-date uh, story about the most recent discoveries and information with respect to dinosaurs, and the Burgess Shale. And the Burgess Shale, for people who don't know, is a place in just in Field, in Yoho National Park or Provincial Park in BC, and just above the town of Field. And it's a fantastic Precambrian site. I'm pretty sure it's Precambrian,
Hmm.
where because of the nature of the events that took place, a lot of soft-bodied creatures were preserved, and it was a part of the Cambrian explosion when all these different weird forms of life
Yeah.
showed up. That some failed and some sort of continued forward into into us eventually. But fascinating stuff, and we went to that to look into that at the Royal Tyrrell Museum. I've always been interested in the Burgess Shale, so I got a book and read all about it. It's very interesting.
Yeah. For the uninitiated, shale it's a mudstone,
Yeah,
and a
Right.
lot
exactly.
of soft body stuff just get caught in the mud and
Mm-hmm.
preserved. And the
Mm-hmm.
detail within
Is
these things
is astounding.
is internal structure is
Yeah,
is often preserved in these things. So we know their digestive system, we know their nerves, we know all kinds of stuff.
and
Very cool.
it's so cool. And some of the there's one creature called uh, Anomalocaris. I think that's how you pronounce it. When they first saw it, they thought it was like three different things.
Yeah.
They thought it was like a sand dollar, and then they thought it was a shrimp, and then they thought it was something else. And it turns out it was all of them combined. That the
Hmm.
shrimp were actually the feeding tentacles on the front, and the sand dollar was its mouth, and it had just the strangest looking stuff. It's just so cool, and it was kind of like the apex predator of the era, apparently. So it's pretty
Yep.
cool.
Yeah. I haven't read that one. I'm gonna have to read that one. Steve Brissett's Rise and Fall of Dinosaurs is excellent.
It really is. It's so easy to read. I just powered through it in about 4 days. It's just
Yeah,
so
I
good.
think one to read right after that would be Elsa Pensaroli's Beasts Before Us, which is sort of the mammal version of that.
That would be cool because Steve also did a mammal version,
Yeah.
a follow-up to this one. I haven't read that, but I saw it at the store and I couldn't bring myself to bringing two books back, so I just brought one.
Well, it looks like I'm adding another one to my book queue.
There you go. It's worth
Yeah.
reading.
There you go.
And
Well,
yeah,
go ahead, Terry.
I was gonna say I started another nonfiction book that I had sitting around for a while. I read Ed Young's other book, which is his second book, but this one is I Contain Multitudes, which is about microorganisms and specifically our microbiome, but it also goes into the evolution thereof of and how we figured out that archaea were a separate thing and all this sort of stuff.
That's
It's
pretty cool.
it's like any of these books you're drinking with a fire hose. It's
Yeah.
Mhm.
so much
Yeah.
information, and it's just surface level information. It's you could go into the references and spend a lifetime reading.
Well, some people do.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, so yeah, and he's I say that it's about most of them. It's an easy read. The style is really personal. It's really good. He doesn't, if there's a new concept, he describes it very well.
Mm.
So,
Very
um,
cool.
yeah, I'm also catching up on the latest in the My Happy Marriage light novels. It's a good anime. It's pretty well written. They're short. It's very
Mm.
short.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, things we've seen. Our good friend over at Sprue Pie with Frets, he's had three very good lengthy. They're lengthy blog posts, but they're a good read. I got to see if we can get them on. So the first one was Model Prices Part One. This is a series of three. The good model prices one. The good scale modeling sure is cheap, and he kind of goes into, when you break it down, it's still one of the cheapest forms of entertainment you can buy. And he goes through quite a few details there. Then he has model prices part two, the bad. Scale modeling will survive tariffs, but there will be discomfort. And he goes through and he got some good examples that I didn't know about, with what, some of the challenges the companies are doing. But yeah, it'll survive. But we're going to be paying more basically.
Yeah.
And then part three, which I think came out yesterday, model prices part three, the weird. Why, oh, why is that one weird kit I wanted always gone or expensive?
Oh,
And again, it's a good fun read. So definitely check those out when you got a cup of coffee in your hand or a glass of
yeah.
whiskey. And they're all three are long reads. But
Someone
definitely check that out.
had the big Gamelon cruiser kit, and it's
Oh,
like
that's
2 or so
right.
feet long,
Yeah.
right? It's like, and he did a fair job with it. And it's like, I so want to paint this thing. So I'm talking to Peter Fay. He's like, I want one too. I've never found one less than. So I look on eBay. It's like $400. It's like, I'll wait for the eventual maybe re-release, I guess, or wait for someone to die and I can buy it from their
Yeah, the estates.
their
It's all about
estate.
the estate. It's all about the
Yeah.
estate sales. I know.
So if anyone wants to sell one of those, let me know.
Just let
For less than $400. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, just let us
I'll
know.
pay it too.
scalemodelpodcast@gmail.com, and we'll make sure Terry finds out about it.
I will build and paint this and it'll be gorgeous.
Exactly. And then you say Tony Woodson's got his Wonderfest report?
Yeah, I thought I saw it up. I didn't see a link for it yet, but I'll ask him about it
All
and get
right.
a link to
We'll have the
this.
link. We'll have the
He
link by the
always
time
is,
we go live.
it's Tony, so it's like his entire diary for the week.
Yeah.
It's always good.
Always a good read about
Yep.
Wonderfest. So that's good. Okay, so that's about it, gentlemen. We had a good show, almost an hour and a half.
Oh my
So
God.
I know. So for more
Not
modeling
normal.
yeah, it's normal. For more modeling podcast goodness, check out the other modeling podcasts at modelpodcast.com. Leave us a positive review, please, if you enjoy what we're doing. We're on Facebook, YouTube, and scalemodelpodcast.com. Inbox reviews, which are sadly behind the times right now, are available at blackfire.ca. And we still have some merch at redbubble.com. So, anything else, gentlemen, before we sign off?
Nah, I got to find out if Edmonton's beating Florida.
Hopefully. Exactly. Bring the cup home since Toronto couldn't do it.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So for episode 159 of the Scale Model Podcast, my name is Stuart Clark.
I'm Geoff Highland.
And I'm Terry Measley reminding you to buy raffle tickets.
Awesome.
Yes.
That's good. Shout out to Harold. Thank you and be well.